Okay, we're going to start this morning's class in a seated posture. We just need the block, even though I've got a bolster behind me. That's for later on in the day. So just coming into a seated posture where you're trying to get the knees as low as possible. And take a little time to wriggle out through the sitting bones. Get in a comfy position. Feel that spine start to lift. Body may be feeling a little bit lighter as you relax your shoulders down. And the crown of the head lifting. It helps, you can close your eyes to start working a little more onto your breath without distraction. Letting the mind start to still. Okay, we're going to take the eyes back open, float the arms out. So the hands are in line with the shoulders. We're just going to take a surface stretch. So bring that right arm across and lock. Just start to stretch the shoulder across. And release the arms back out again and take it across the opposite way. Release my foot. Take the arms up towards the sky again. This time we'll just have the hands above the shoulders, and we're going to come into a little twist. So we're just going to turn to the left and drop the hands down, one hand behind, one hand on the side. Inhale up and rotate it around. As you do this, try and keep the legs and the hips relaxed, the spine long. It's very easy if your shoulders are a little bit tight to kind of work so hard on that that you actually draw your legs up at the same time. So a little bit like the rub your belly, tap your head. This is lift your hands, drop your knees. Ease those hands back down. Now we'll come down to the floor, and we're going to use that block behind us. So head. So knees high, hands behind. Roll the spine down, keep your chin in towards the chest until you feel your back is on the floor, and then have a little wriggle out, and we'll bring the knees in, just placing the hands on top of those knees, and let ourselves make some nice big juicy circles. Again, following the breath, exhaling as you draw the knees in, inhaling as you move forwards. And then tailbone lift gently off the floor. You get a little bit of an abdominal crunch as you draw the belly in on that exhale, and let the tailbone lift. Try to get that to come from the tail rather than pulling on the arms. Really, they're just guiding the circles. And we'll bring the feet back down to the floor on the center there. And we'll lengthen out the left leg, toes up towards the sky. Foot is flexed. Draw the right knee in. And we'll lengthen out through that left leg. Try and get the heel as far away as possible. And just observe if you feel your leg rolling out to the side a little bit. See if that happens. If a possibility to turn the hip in, to bring it back into the center. And then we'll draw the legs back in, close to the bottom. Slide the right leg down the center line, flex the foot, and bring that left knee in. So not really pulling on the leg, letting the leg weight and the arms sink the knee in towards the body. A little more focused on the right leg lengthening out. And we'll release that foot as well. Bring both legs back in. We'll take the left leg up towards the sky and moving towards the figure four. So once you flex the foot, turn the toes out to the side, bend your knee, bring your ankle to the outside of the thigh. Let the left knee move forwards as you draw your right knee in towards your body, and then take one hand through the center, one hand around the outside of that right leg. This time you can use the arms a little bit. Try not to wake the shoulders up. See if you can keep them relaxed and wide. Just using a little bit of strength of the arms. The elbows tend to flare out a little bit as we pull that knee in. Keeping the left foot flexed at all times. Release that leg. Take it up to the sky. Bring it back down side by side, and then we just rise through with the right leg. Turn the toes out. Offer the knee into place. Get a little bit of travel forwards with the right knee, and then draw the left leg in. Release that leg again. Give it a little shake out. Then we're going to move the block from behind the head and take it between the thighs for bridge pose. I'm going to make sure the feet are underneath the knees. The feet out a little wider, so the legs are folding in a fraction. Arms facing down and roll the shoulders underneath a little bit. As you exhale, just slowly tuck the tailbone away from the floor and peel your spine away from the ground, letting the hips lift up as you start to press your knees forward, arms down into the floor. Just getting into a straight line. So think of this more as opening out your hip flexors, getting that straight line between the pelvis and the thighs, then worrying about how high you get your chest. And then roll the spine gently back down. These are our early morning bridges. They're a little bit different to our in the late evening bridges when the body's had a whole day to warm up and move around. Just lift slowly, lengthen. You can almost say that they're different versions of the same thing. Going back down. I want to try and get a sense of your buttocks lengthening away as well. Hopefully a sense of lightness in the body as you lift up. Just rolling through, exhaling on the way up. One breath at a time. And then rolling down. Obviously your breath might be different to mine, so the amount of repetitions, the amount of time spent in pose will be different person to person. And then we'll take that block again out from the thighs and place it around the back of the head. We'll bring the feet back onto the center line, and this time we're going to take the left knee in towards the body. Take the hands around the back of the thigh. Extend the leg up towards the sky. So propel against Megadasana. Try to swallow and say that at the same time, doesn't work. Get a nice long neck, and then slide your right leg out. So both legs end with heels stretching away and feet flexing. Spreading the toes out a little as well. We'll bring the feet back in towards the body and move it into the second slide. Okay, again, we'll just slowly release those legs back down to the floor. Take a little breath here. We're going to roll onto our right side. Use the hands to lift up away from the floor. We'll just move that block out to the back of the mat as we do so. Spin around and come down onto our bellies. So chin on the end of the mat. And I'm going to take the feet so that they're just either side of that block. You can press the ball joints into the block a little bit. We're going to take the hands down towards the bottom of the ribs so that elbows are pointing up towards the sky. And draw the shoulders in towards the center line a little bit. So once you've done all that, inhale and let the chest lift. Exhale on the way down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. The squeeze of the thighs. Lengthen the legs away. And squeeze into the shoulders. Really not pressing into the hands. Just positioning them so that we can get those elbows in close to the body. And then we'll release the feet a little bit. Peel ourselves away from the floor. Come back up onto all fours in front of the mat. Ready for some cat-cow. So just drawing the chest forwards, shoulders back. Roll through the spine. Inhaling forwards and exhaling out. So keeping those shoulders away from the ears. So they stay soft. And then we'll come back into neutral spine. We'll just move ourselves a little closer towards the back of the mat. Down into child's pose. And leaving the hands out as far forward as we can. Give a deep stretch down through the armpits, into the sides of the body. Steady narrow stance for the knees. Elbows away from the ground. Trying to deep breathe into the diaphragm so we get that little bit of stretch and flex through the ribs and spine. And walk the fingers back in. Come up a little bit. Tuck the toes underneath. I have the feet apart about the same distance as the block. Roll back. Hopefully within hand's reach. That block is available to you. You can take the feet out a little to the side. Bit of wriggling around. And then if you wish to, you can press the arms into the thighs a little bit to open the groins out just gently. Keeping the spine long, shoulders relaxed. Okay, put the hands on the floor, just a little ahead. Just lean in, slowly lift your hips towards the sky as you turn your heels off of the block. And then walk the fingers in a little closer into that forward fold. A couple of breaths here. And we're going to soften the knees and ragdoll up. So exhaling on the way. Keep the shoulders hang low to the last moment. Take the arms out wide, up towards the sky. Hands in towards the heart. Hinging slowly forwards. Down to the floor. Soften the knees. Gently, gently. Draw the belly in as you exhale. Round spine to lift up. Inhale high. With the hands, third and final time, coming down. Softening, driving it. Inhale the hands high. Let the hands come through the heart and drop to the side as we walk into the middle of the mat. And we'll bring the toes together so they touch, and a little gap for the heels. Bring the hands into your heart. Drop your knees over your toes, squeeze your thighs together. And then we'll sit back down into chair. Be careful to keep the spine long, not rounding through the top of the back. And then we'll lengthen the arms out in front, directly following the line through the hips, shoulders to fingertips, palms facing. And so we're going to sit a little lower. So the weight is definitely coming into the heels, away from the toes. And then we'll lift up again. And the hands drop and we'll step into the front of the mat. Feet are at hip distance apart again. We'll take the hands high. Through the heart and exhale long. Flat back. Hold it out. Those legs are warming up a little bit. We'll ragdoll out again. Lift high. And through the heart. Exhaling down. Ragdoll, so nice deep bend in the knees to lift. Third and final time. We'll take the hands high and then bring them in towards the heart. Take a breath in as you soften the knees over your toes. We'll shift the weight into the left foot. Take the right foot back into a lunge. Drop the heel in and open into our warrior two. Time to adjust the back foot, front foot, hips, shoulders, whatever you need to bring yourself into your perfect warrior two. We'll turn the palm on the front hand and we'll take the warrior two. Now you're going to drop the back hand down onto that rear leg and draw the top arm up towards the sky first. Lengthen out through the spine so we get plenty of lift. And then we're just going to take it into a little fold. So bringing yourself over maybe a couple of degrees towards the back of the mat. When you stretch out deep and long, you don't need to go quite so aggressively into the bend. Come back into our warrior two. Checking we keep the front knee over that ankle. We extend out to side angles. Forearm comes onto the top thigh and then presses in a little bit. Top arm starts to lift up towards the sky, and then we're going to float that into some windmills. So drawing the hand down to the floor and then towards the back of the mat and up towards the sky. Keeping the chest facing the side end of the mat. And a little bit of weight in the back foot. Try to relax the toes a little bit. When we're moving around, there is a bit of a tendency for the front foot particularly to kind of grip into the mat, like talons on an eagle. Now, the next time we bring the hand through towards the back of the mat, we'll lift ourselves back to warrior two. Turn the palm again, and we'll take it a little deeper this time, over to the back end of the mat. Come back. Take a little breath, bring the hands into the heart. Now we're going to slowly turn the hips and chest towards the front mat. Spin the heel up towards the sky on that back foot. Lean forwards a little bit, and then step into the front of the mat. And hopefully the feet have landed parallel and in line with each other. If not, tiny little adjustments. Inhale the hands up towards the sky on the breath in, and towards the heart. And we'll soften the knees over the toes again. So mini chair. Take the weight into the right foot this time. Slide the left foot back. Drop the heel in. Open up into your warrior two and adjust as you need to. So just checking you've got heel to heel alignment. And turn the palm on the front hand. Again, it's the small version. So drop the bottom hand down onto the thigh, lift the top arm up, get lift. Wait for that feeling of extension to occur in the body, and then we just take it over a few degrees. Keeping all that length that we've worked on in the spine. We'll come back into warrior two. We extend out again, paying attention to that front position of the knee, lifting the top arm up, floating across and over the face with those big juicy windmills. Pressing the front thigh into the groin a little bit on the side of the inner thigh, just to open, keep the body lifted, keep the back foot connected. Front foot is more relaxed. So as you get those tiny little shifts in balance, you can absorb rather than hold. And we'll bring the hand towards the back of the mat, lift into our warrior two. Turn the palm and reverse warrior, this time a little further into the extension towards the back of the mat. Coming forwards again, warrior two. Hands come in towards the heart. We rotate. Spin the back heel, take a little breath, lean forwards, and step it into the front of the mat. Hopefully, landing with the feet parallel and in line. The legs a little shake out, the arms a little shake out as well. And then mountain pose. So letting the feet feel free. If there's any gripping, you might need to wriggle your toes a little bit. See where the weight lands in the feet. You roll into the outside edges, or perhaps a little into the instep. Whatever it is, so you can work out how you can adjust your feet and see how that feels in the muscle fibers in the legs above. As we open the eyes, inhale hands high through the heart. Exhale slowly forwards. Bringing the fingertips to the floor. The step to the right foot to the back of the mat. Big lunge. And we'll bring the fingertips and the hands onto that front thigh. So lift the body up about halfway. And then draw the tailbone down to finish tilting the pelvis underneath so the spine can stack on top, lifting high. Now, with one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, elbows out to the side. Feel your breath. Try and keep the belly drawn in. So you'll know whether you are accomplishing that, because if the bottom hand's moving more than the top hand, you've got a little bit of work to do. Release the hands back down to the floor. Bring both hands onto the inside of that front leg. Walk the fingers around to the long side, turning the toes with you. Stay on the fingertips for this first side. Send the tailbone back a little bit. Draw the chest forward a little bit. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Think about lengthening the spine. Press down with the feet so body starts to feel a little bit lighter. The fingers around to the front edge again, spinning the feet with us. And step back into that forward fold. Hands onto the hips, soft knees and a flat back to lift up. Inhale high. Hands up to the heart. Slow and low as we lengthen out. Down to the floor. Left foot back. Into that big lunge. Again, just move the fingertips off the floor and bring the hands onto the front thigh. Lift up halfway. Get some length in the spine. Draw the tailbone down. And then whichever way you had the hands the first time, see if you can take them the opposite way around this time. And we're trying to hold the belly in, draw the tailbone down, press that through the back heel, and breathe a little more into the chest. And then as we exhale, we'll bring the hands down to the floor again. Then move them onto the inside of the front foot and walk ourselves around. Turning the toes in on the fingertips to start. Take yourself to lengthen the tailbone away. Get that space in the hips for us to move through. And then as you exhale, start to lower the hips over the thighs. And slowly lengthen down towards the floor. Still squeezing the feet down into the floor a little bit. Draw the thighs together, lifting the groins up towards the sky and letting the body sink. Sounds easy, but it's not that relaxing first thing in the morning for all of us. Lift slowly back up. Walk fingertips around to the front end of the mat again. Take a little breath and step into the forward fold. Hands onto the hips, soft knees, and we lift up. Inhale high again, bring the hands through the heart down to the floor. And as we arrive, we'll step back into a plank. And then we're going to lower ourselves to the ground completely. So if you want to bring the knees to the floor, you can do, or we're just going to bend the elbows back, shoulders away from the ears, come down with control. And then untuck the toes so bootlaces are down. Bring the hands down by the side of the hips. On the inhale, we're going to lift the legs, chest, and the hands away from the floor. And on the exhale, come back down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Down. Two more. Try and keep the legs as straight as you can. So thinking of drawing the front of the thighs away from the floor, or lengthening the toes away. I'll take one last lift. Now, as you come back down, bring your hands back underneath your body a little bit. I'm going to just bring the feet onto the center line. So you might need to nudge that block away a little bit if it's underneath your feet. And then we'll take the left hand forwards and we'll roll onto our left side of the body. I'm going to bend the left elbow, bring that hand underneath the back of the head and the ear. So we're letting ourselves rest on this tricep and elbow. I'm trying to get the pit of our arms close to the floor as we can. Then we'll slowly draw the top leg, knee towards the sky. Take the hand to the ankle and bring the heel in towards the groin. So just going to spend a couple of seconds here and we're getting used to balancing on the hip. Now, if that's really wobbly for you, bend your bottom knee a little bit. Otherwise, if you're finding it easy to hold yourself up using your core muscles, you can actually flex the foot of the bottom leg and lengthen the heel away. I'm going to take a little breath here and see if I can reach my big toe. If not, just going to hold on to the ankle. But if you're able to take the big toe, it's index finger, middle finger, and then we're going to slowly extend that out directly towards the ceiling. And we'll release that foot down, lengthen the legs away, roll back onto our belly. Take the right arm out, roll onto the right side. And again, just bring that hand back underneath, back of the head for a little bit of support. Get the armpit as close to the ground as you can. That helps with the balance. Lengthen out through the legs. And then when you're ready, we're going to draw that top knee towards the sky. Use the hand to bring the heel towards the groin. And then just seeing how our balance feels on this side. And it could be that both sides feel the same, or you might have a very different story. I'm already feeling very much more wobbly on this side than I did on the other. Doesn't bode that well for the lift. So we'll just stay here for a moment, just letting the body and the nervous system adjust, getting used to where it is. Okay, if you're ready, you're going to see if you can take hold of the big toe, keep hold of the ankle, and then we lengthen out slowly. And we try to have that lifting up towards the sky. So we want the hips 90 degrees to the floor, and then the foot directly above the hip. So it does feel a little bit like doing the splits. Remember the options on that bottom leg. Bending the knee halfway through is always acceptable. And then we'll release. Bring that foot back down. We'll come onto our bellies again. Bring the hands underneath towards the bottom of the ribs, lift up. Around a cat-cow. And then we'll come into a neutral spine. Just spin the feet out to one side. Roll yourself back. We're going to take a seated twist, so we'll use the block again underneath our bottom. Legs lengthen out, sit up nice and tall, and then hooking the left leg under, right leg over, taking the left hand high into the twist. And then we can release from there. Take ourselves into the opposite side. Release, we'll lengthen the legs out and move ourselves towards Shavasana. So taking the feet towards the corner edges of the mat, knees high, hands behind, chin towards the chest. We'll roll down again slowly. Allow ourselves to move the block under the head. Take the feet out all the way and let roll out to the sides, palms up. Wriggling through the shoulders to spine settle. And then doing the same with the legs, just letting them roll into position. It's closed. And we'll begin to stretch those fingers and toes. Breathe a little deeper. Let the wrist, ankles take some movement. Connected in your body. On that exhale of a breath, allow yourself to stretch out. Allow yourself to feel light as a feather. Slide the heels back in. Take the gentlest of hugs. And then with an exhale, we'll roll onto our right side. Take a breath on the floor. Use the next exhale to lift away from the ground. Roll ourselves back into that easy sitting posture. Bring the hands in towards your heart. So you can close the eyes, taking a deeper breath. And as we bow to the floor, draw the belly in and seal the practice for the morning. Inhaling to lift the spine, let the head follow and the eyes open. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Have a lovely week ahead. I'll see you again soon.